Hello, my name is David Ackerman, student number 220-310-629, and this is the CAD video assignment. Let's get started. So first, what we want to do is we're going to go on the insert components part. We're going to insert a new part, and then we're going to go on the David Ackerman, my student number, and then bolt. We're going to click open, and then this is the bolt that we have. Now that we have the bolt selected, I originally did not make this bolt. I imported it from the library, and it originally didn't have the grooves or the notches, which I had to make it myself using Hole Wizard, put on the using the thread tool, which I will show how to do later, which would be useful to put on the nut that we're going to be creating. So that's going to be when the nut is going to be screwing onto the bolt. So now what we'd want to do is the nut that we'd want to center around the bolt has to be built within the blue area right there. So what we want to do is we want to make that into a new part and then make it into a new component. So what you're doing, it brought us to like a specific view, like the recommended view, and right now what we're doing is that we're going to be selecting that area. We're going to be creating a new part. As new parts around that area, and click the selected area, and you can see that's the skeletal view of the whole drawing. Now the skeletal view, it makes it easier to select all the way around the bolts, to make sure that you select all the 12 areas, or that because there's 12 sides and the circle in the center is at the tangent, you have to select 12 there's 6 sides, so there's 12 segments that you have to select. And you want to make sure that you'd want to rotate around to make sure that you don't miss any you'd want to rotate to make sure that you don't miss any of the components, because if you do, it's going to be bad. And at the very top, you'd want to select the very top, because that's where the hole is going to be. As you can see, that there's the hexagon that the bolt is going to be centered, and there's a very hole in the middle that we're going to extrude it out. And that hole is going to be where the bolt is going to be secured. So here, what we're doing is an example of what you should not be doing. Because I selected both areas, there is no hole for the bolt to be screwed in. So what we're doing is that we're just making sure that we made it properly, and we're making the bolt invisible to make the area, to make it more visible, so it's easier for us to picture what we need to extrude and what we don't need to extrude. So now we're extruding it, and this is another example of what you shouldn't be doing, is making the whole circle, negating the circle so that the bolt, and because I did that, the whole drawing made it into a sheet, so it's not actually a shape yet. What you'd want to do is just grab it, make it into a shape, and you want to make sure it's into a gray area. Now that you have into that gray area, you'd want to select the outermost area, click OK, extrude it 10 millimeters, and that is basically your bolt done. But what we're missing is that we're missing the notches or the threads around the center of the bolt, or center of the nut. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to Hole Wizard, we're going to go to Threads, obviously click OK, and these are all the settings that we have. So we want to click at the very top of the circle, and you can see this pink lines is where the notches are going to go. So as you can see, they don't really matter. So you obviously want to make sure to mirror it, or else it's not going to work. And it's not going to really matter because it's going through. It's just going to apply to the exact amount of the bolt. Also, you'd want to make sure that the grooves match the bolt length. So I used M 3 times 3.5. You want to make sure you're using that, and making sure everything is properly selected. And here we have the finished bolt. So in short, that's what we have. That's done. The goal of the video was to build the bolt, or the nut to the bolt, but we want to make sure that the nut actually fits onto the bolt properly, right? So we want to select it, and we want to make the bolt visible again, because we made it invisible to build the nut around the bolt, so it's easier to picture it. Now we're going to make it visible again. And as you can see, that is the nut around the bolt. You can move it around, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching the video, and thank you.